So you also mentioned that you have a PhD. So can you tell me, as you kind of were working your way through these various programs, how much of your kind of direction did you take because you knew you wanted to enter the legal teaching market?
I think I would say, even when I was doing my first law degree, I kind of had a sense that that's what I wanted to do, right? So I loved law school, and people kept telling me, if you love law school, that's a kind of a sign that you should go into teaching in a way. So I think I started thinking about that at that time, but it's only after graduation I did a work for the UN, kind of a quick internship, and then I just decided that's something that I wanted to do.
So you got your first degree first,
yes.
and
then an LLM actually. So when I did the LLM, I still had that kind of strong feeling of I want to go into teaching, and so I did the LLM, and because again I was thinking of academia, I did a kind of a thesis during the LLM to kind of test whether I would love doing research, kind of independent research.
Right.
And so I came out of that research project with kind of more questions than answers. And then that's why I decided to do the doctorate degree. And so the SJD degree, which is very similar to a PhD degree, gives you kind of 3 to 5 years, I think, on average, to dive deeper into a legal topic that you think is really interesting.
Right. And I think it also gives you the opportunity, at least in talking to other folks who have done the PhD route, you can take your dissertation and kind of break it into smaller pieces.
Yes.
And it gives you kind of a research agenda and kind of an idea of future pieces that you might want to do.
Yes, I think that's very true. That's exactly what I did, actually. So I took 3 of the chapters in my dissertation and kind of turned them into law review articles.
Right.
And it's easier to turn them into law review articles. It does take some work because it's 2 different documents with 2 different purposes.
Right.
But then even after that, it gives you kind of this broad knowledge base that you can keep drawing from for a number of years afterwards.
And did you do your SJD at a domestic law school, or you were somewhere else?
I did it in Canada, so at the University of Toronto, which has a great kind of doctoral program there. And you really need kind of the law school's dedication to kind of benefit from a doctoral degree, right? So people have to be selective when they do that.
Yes.
So there are some schools that have the track record of not just having people graduate with the degree, but to really support them through that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the discipline? What did you enter your PhD?
So I did it it was at the intersection of intellectual property law and traditional knowledge. And I used used law and economics as a research methodology to kind of probe that question.
All right, so that makes for an easier transition into a law school.
Yeah.
Right, and not so much work in terms of, because I know that there are some disciplines where they're much more descriptive than they are normative.
That's true.
And kind of making that, and in law we generally the focus is normative, not descriptive.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's difficulty kind of joining the 2.
Yes, that's true.
A law and economics perspective would be easy.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a common challenge where people want to do either a PhD in another field with a JD, right? That's a common thing, or just a PhD in law but draws from other disciplines. So each kind of experience has its own challenges, but it's not unique in that other people have gone through it, and so reaching out, I think, might help.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you.